Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to episode 197 of Dads from the Crypt. My name is Jason. I'll be your host tonight. Mondo's on the road, but we are joined by Jody.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine. My camera is glitchy, so if you are the kind of person who watches a podcast on video, I'm sorry. I'll just apologize again. I've done it before. I don't know what's happening.
I just want to know about the people that watch podcasts on YouTube. I love you for watching, but you're all a bunch of
thank you. It's confusing, but thank you.
And joining us for Hot Jaws Summer, we have Steve from the Bucket of Chum podcast. Welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Pleasure to have you and your wonderful background, which I guess, okay, if you're watching the podcast, you get to see these cool backgrounds that someone like Steve has.
That's true.
I assume you have like a whole corner of your house, in one room of your house, that is just Jaws themed, and I love it.
Yeah, it's actually I built a sound booth in the basement here for myself, so I wouldn't keep everybody awake at night when I'm recording. So yeah, it's this little tiny like 4 foot by 5 foot booth.
Is it like egg cartons?
It's like there's just foam and like particle board, like a really cheap like 1x2 wood frame around, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one's done like a parody of like Hustle and Flow, the scene where they make like their own little studio, but for a bunch of white guys with podcasts.
Yeah.
with neck beards.
Yeah.
And receding headlines, or hairlines.
Yeah.
Mine receded all the way off, so
Yeah, I know. So I don't have one anymore.
it can't recede any further.
So Steve, tell us about your show.
Yeah, so Bucket of Chum is just about shark movies. I just cover all of the weird and bizarre shark movies that are out there because ever since Jaws, there has just been a craze in shark movies. People have tried to imitate it, and other people have just been like, hey, sharks are cool. Let's throw that into a movie about something. And yeah, I just dive into a really weird and bizarre world that is sharksploitation cinema.
Now, have you? Okay, how many episodes have you done so far? How long have you been doing it?
So I'm in my 3rd year, and I just crossed just over 100 episodes now.
Nice.
Well, so you know to find 100 shark movies?
Dude, I have shark movies for years to come.
Really?
Like, it's unbelievable the amount that are actually out there. Like, that's why I started the podcast, because there's just so many of them, and they just continue to make them. Yeah, and even like Hollywood is pumping out a couple of them here and there. So
Sure.
Yeah,
I feel like shark movies are like an iceberg where most of us only see like the surface, but then there's the depths of shark movies where it gets real weird.
Yeah, you get
So,
a
like,
lot of the like micro budget filmmaking. So that's a lot of what I cover, a lot of micro budget films. But I mean, I cover everything like from Hollywood high production products. But yeah, there's a lot of micro budget films that I cover, and some of them are hidden gems too, which is kind of nice.
Well, I saw one earlier today that you may want to add to your rotation. I think it's called Shark Dentist. I don't really know much about it other than there's a lady who's a dentist and there's a giant shark. I don't know.
Wait, so the shark isn't the dentist?
No, the shark is not the dentist. The shark is going to the dentist.
Oh,
well, that's a missed opportunity.
Which is disappointing, obviously.
Yeah.
That's like the plot of the last like King Kong versus Godzilla movie where like he needs a dentist.
Yeah.
All he needs is teeth fixed.
Right. So let me ask this: what's the worst? What's some of the worst shark movies? Like the most god awful?
Yeah, so I actually have like a side series on the podcast called Seasick Cinema where I go back and bring guests onto the show and talk about like the worst movies that I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
One that comes to mind is called Shark Huntress. There's like barely any shark in it. The plot is not there either. That one comes to mind. Alien Shark is another one. Yeah, like those are probably like the top two like shittiest movies I've seen. But there's definitely a lot. Like there's a lot of shitty movies I watch, but there's a few of those that are like top tier crap.
There's one I'm very curious about. I heard about like a year ago called Shark Side of the Moon.
Oh yeah, I've covered that one.
It's a Shark
How-
Man,
how-
isn't it?
Yeah, how is it?
It's interesting. I have a hard time like telling people like whether it's good or bad because like it's such a niche area to talk about. Now, granted, there are some movies that are like way low budget that I would highly recommend. Like there's a movie I got sent to screener for last year called Graveyard Shark, which was just hilarious, really well done, lots of practical effects. It's a man like shark thing, and so it's a dude in a shark suit, but he's like buff as hell, and he looks like he's wearing like 50s greaser clothes, basically.
I
But,
love
like,
everything about this.
yeah, like that movie, like, and it knows what it is, and so it plays into what it is, and so something like that really works. But then you get movies like I said, like Alien Shark or Shark Huntress. There's even movies called like Sharks of the Corn, things like that, where I'm just like, I get certain enjoyment out of some of these movies, but I know that there's movies that I can't recommend to people on good faith because I know they're not for everybody.
Has there been an Amityville Shark movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it was called like Amityville Island. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've heard, like the shark appears in like one scene in it. But of course, it's on the front cover. Like that's what
Right.
this movie is about. But I
That's
honestly
funny.
wouldn't be surprised at some point if we see like like a full on Amity shark movie. Because I mean or Amityville shark movie. Because I mean they've made so many of them. The
Now,
Amityville movies, like.
do you limit your show to literally sharks, or will you do like orca or other aquatic attack animal movies?
Yeah, so I covered Orca on the Patreon in January because this year, since it's like 50 years of Jaws, I'm celebrating all of Jaws. So I'm doing like all the movies that like Jaws inspired or movies that tried to knock off Jaws and things like that. But yeah, and even throughout the years on the Patreon, I've covered basically aquatic horror or other aquatic movies. I covered one last year called Warlords of Atlantis. I've covered Humanoids of the Deep on there.
Nice.
Usually around Halloween time, I'll cover one of the Creature from the Black Lagoon movies. So I dive into a little bit of that. So it's not strictly shark movies, but like 85% of what I cover, especially on the main channel, is shark movies.
All right, one more question on this topic. What's the best? Obviously, outside of Jaws, what's the one that you think, or a couple that come close?
So I think a couple that, like I said, I would actually put like, I think The Shallows is a really good one.
Agreed.
Deep Blue Sea as well. I fucking love that
I
movie.
love Deep Blue Sea so much.
Yeah, I mean, I think The Shallows and Deep Blue Sea are kind of like, it would be in like the top three. It would be like Jaws, Deep Blue Sea, The Shallows. But I mean, there's a lot of other great movies out there. But I think if we're talking like top tier, like really good shark movies, I think those are probably like the top three.
Yeah, those I like all those movies. I also like 47 Meters Down. That one, something about that gives me the creeps when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I think Trapped in the Bottom of the Ocean.
Yeah, being trapped in the bottom of the ocean would scare the shit out of me.
I got one more to put on your
Do you
radar.
have any? Is that like one of your Patreon tiers? Is like go swimming with sharks for like $10,000?
Oh God, I wish.
You should put that as a tier just to see, just as like a joke.
Somebody might do it.
We talk about doing like, if someone gives us $1,000, we'll post like dad feet pictures.
Yeah.
For $1,000,
never
I'd
know.
do it. Sure.
Yes.
Some sicko out there wants it that bad. Pay me.
I've always liked
fuck,
the
I'll take
idea.
$1,000 for that.
I've always liked the idea of doing the shark cage thing, but the reality of it, like,
Oof.
absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
I go back and forth because I want to see a great white, and the only way to see them is to actually go to them. Like, they can't be put in aquariums or anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but I just don't know if I want to see them enough. I got
All right.
one more to put on your radar if you haven't
Okay,
already
good.
heard of it. We saw it at Chattanooga Film Fest a couple weeks ago. It's called Hot Springs Shark Attack. It's very stupid. It's from Japan, but it's pretty entertaining.
I've heard about it. I think I've talked to a couple of people that run like their social sites and whatnot. I haven't seen it yet, but it's definitely
It's
on
fun.
my radar.
It's real stupid, but like in a
It's
fun
exactly what I'm hoping for.
way.
Cool. All right. But this week we are reviewing Jaws 2, which came out June 16th, 1978. Jody, give us a plot synopsis.
All right. Well, if you remember the plot of Jaws 1,
Copy and
good
paste.
news for you. They did it again. It really is. It's a lot of the same plot. 4 years after the Great White was killed, a new hotel is opening and a new shark is in the waters of Amity Island. It kills a couple scuba divers who are photographing the wreckage of the orca. Their camera is taking pictures of the attack when it happens. The next day, the shark attacks a water skier and eats the skier right off the thing. And then the person running the boat attempts to fight him. I don't know, by pouring gasoline on herself is what it looks like. I don't think that was the goal, but it really looks like I'm going to get you, shark. And she sets herself on fire, like full monk style. The shark gets a big burn on his face in the process. Then we find a killer whale carcass. Let me get real quick. Nobody from the other movie is in it except for Chief Brody and his family. They are back.
And the mayor.
And the mayor, yes. Hopper is in the Antarctic, which is their way of saying or Hooper, sorry, Hooper. Hopper's that's from Stranger Things, yeah. He's in the Antarctic, which is their way of saying we couldn't get him back for another movie. I think Roy Schneider had his arm twisted to get into this one, but
I read that he was in Deer Hunter, which was filming at the time, and like for other reason, he didn't want to be in the movie anymore, so he dropped out, and this was his penance.
Okay, yeah. he had a contractual obligation to make a movie. But anyway, so they found a killer whale on the beach with big bites taken out of it, and Chief Brody believes that a shark is responsible, and then he finds the pieces of the boat that blew up with dead bodies attached to them, and so he starts thinking, all right, we got another shark thing. And for some reason, despite the fact that just a few years ago they had a massive shark attack that did a lot of damage, nobody believes it. Like, nobody thinks it's serious. Shark, what are you, insane? There's never been a shark here except for that other one. And so everyone just kind of brushes him off. The mayor, of course, does what the mayor does, which is keep the beaches open because that's his job. So all Brody can do is basically tell his son, who now 17, Mike, not to go out on the water. So the next day he's out there watching from a very tall chair to keep an eye out for the sharks, and he causes a panic because he sees what he thinks is a big shape moving underneath the water. It's just a bunch of bluefish, but he shoots them. He pulls out his gun in the middle of a busy public beach and starts shooting at the water
with his cyanide-tipped bullets.
Cyanide-tipped bullets.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So he gets fired, which I can't fully be like, no, you shouldn't fire him. Like, he knows what he's talking about, but that was a wacky thing to do. You absolutely should not open fire in the middle of a busy beach. The only person who doesn't vote against him, though, is the mayor. So I guess he kind of believes him more than he used to. You at least trust him a little bit. And then the next morning, Mike defies his father's orders. He goes out sailing with his friends, brings his 10-year-old brother along. So now we're on the ocean part of this movie. We've moved from the island to the ocean. Again, just like the first movie. So they're out there. A bunch of teenagers are there, including this beauty queen who I didn't mention earlier. All the adult men in 1978 talk real sketchy about her in the first scene. It's very disturbing. They're like whistling at her, and yeah. So anyway, the shark continues to cause trouble. He attacks a diver, and the diver gets the bends and an embolism from coming up. He then hits the boat with the beauty queen in it and her boyfriend, and eats her boyfriend. Then because of all this happening, they find out that Mike's out on the water. So Brody takes a boat. He goes out looking for him. There's a helicopter that's looking for them. They find Tina, and Tina says, yes, it was a shark. So finally they have confirmation after all this time. So they send her back to shore with the other police officer and Chief Brody's wife, and they continue looking for the other kids. Meanwhile, the shark then attacks like the group of boats that the kids are all on and tears them all up. And there's kind of two separate groups of kids out there. One has Mike, the other one has Sean and some other kids. A helicopter lands on the water to tow them to safety, and the shark attacks the helicopter and pulls it underwater. Best scene in the movie. No denial.
Oh, easily.
And then
100%.
And as he's pulling it under too, the helicopter blade's still spinning around and sending debris and chopping up their sails. It's a pretty awesome scene. But Chief Brody finds everybody. He finds his son, sends him back, then goes to save the other kids. There's this little island where all the power lines run. And earlier in the movie, Chief Brody had been dragging the sea and pulled up a power line. So he does it again. This time he gets the power line. He does tries to crawl along the power line down to the boat, dangling above the shark while all the teenagers are terrified. And then he manages to get to a little boat, lure the shark over by banging on the power line, and the shark bites the power line and just catches on fire from within, like there's smoke rolling out of its eyes. And that's pretty much it. They just hang out on the island waiting for rescue. The end.
All right, Steve, what do you think of this movie?
I actually really like this movie. I think this is actually like a very underrated movie altogether, and in the franchise itself too. Like, I know people have their issues with it. Like, yeah, the shark looks a little less believable than the first movie, but like not by that much. I feel
Not
like
really.
I feel like a lot of people that complain about the looks of it have like taken still shots from the movie, because like when it's actually in action, like it looks pretty good. I'm like, yeah, if you break down a couple of those things, like, yeah, you can see the shark like bending in weird ways when it's like rubbing against the boat or whatever. But I'm like, if you're just watching it and not like pausing it on a screenshot, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, the shark in the first one, you can see like where the jaws, like where the edge of the jaws kind of go into each other, and that's like the one big thing they improved on.
Yeah, it's not perfect in the first movie either. Like, it's
not by any
means.
It's a little disbelief. It's a movie, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's definitely underrated, I think. And I think there's a lot of really good scenes in this movie. Like, the helicopter scene is incredible. There's one little moment where there's scuba divers, not at the beginning of the movie, but later on in the movie, there's scuba divers going down. And then one of them is like going through like this kelp forest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shark just kind of appears out of the kelp forest and scares the shit out of them. Like, just that little moment there always scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, when I first saw this movie. But yeah, like there's little moments like that. And I think overall, one of the reasons I really enjoy this movie is because it almost plays out like a slasher movie.
Yes.
Like Jaws, the shark is just like a slasher killer, and then he's going after a bunch of teens and picking them off one by one. So like it's very much like almost a precursor to slasher movies. So yeah, I think it's a lot of fun personally.
Yeah, I mean, this came out June 16th, 1978, which is, just a month or two, literally a couple months before Halloween comes out, and just like blows the, stalking teen slasher. And I was doing some research, and the actress who played Tina, Ann Dusenberry, was a finalist for Laurie Strode. It's like her, Jamie Lee, and like one other person, like, according to IMDb. But yeah, so, and I could definitely have seen her like in that role. I think she could have done really well with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's almost like Black Christmas, I think, kind of, set things in motion for these kind of movies. It's interesting because my wife loves Jaws. It's one of the few like horror movies she really likes. So I'm kind of convinced her to watch all the sequels with me. And her big note on this was it just doesn't have the charm of the first one.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
That's totally
I think,
fair.
Yeah. This one I think is trying not mean spirit, but it just doesn't have that Spielbergian quality. And just kind of the comedy, which is funny because they had the same, at least the quote comedy writer Carl Gottlieb hung around for this one, but it's just not nearly as funny in the dialogue. I think the cinematography is actually really, really good. Like there's these like great just open water shots, you know, they just kind of give you that summer feel, which I really like. But yeah, there's just too many damn teens. And like you don't know where they're coming from. Some just kind of appear, you don't know where they're coming from, where they're going. Some
they're all
disappear
kind of
for a while,
interchangeable too.
Yeah,
like all the teenagers are basically just shaggy haired guys, and then like some random girls.
Yeah.
Like I don't know who any of the kids are other than the Tina and I guess his son. I know they all have backstories, but I can't tell them apart most of the time.
I mean, I've seen this movie a good amount of times. The first time I realized that one of the teens is actually the mayor's son.
Yes, I did think about that.
For some reason, I never picked up on that before. I think I was trying to focus on.
He's introduced in like a very quick scene at the beginning of the movie where it's like, "Hey, this is Larry Jr." And then they literally walk away, and then it's like, "Okay, remember, he's Larry Jr. now. Remember that."
Right.
Because like they never interact for the rest of the fucking movie. Like they never talk to each other.
Yeah, I mean, how cool! I think that's a huge missed opportunity because they could have had them like, what if the mayor found out that his son was out there too, and he had like a big freak out, and he wanted, or he even went with them, or they could have really done something dramatically with that. To put because that was like one of the big lines in the first one was like, my kids were on that beach too. It's like his moment of like humanity, and they had an opportunity to like really follow through on that line. But that's just this movie's not really working on that level. I will say, I think as a kid, this one definitely scared me more, I think, than the first one. The first one's obviously more exciting, more engaging, but like, especially that one kill where Sean is on the capsized boat with this other woman, I think her name is Marge.
Yeah.
And like they keep slipping off, and then the shark just goes up and just eats Marge, like right in like feet in front of him. And I remember that I always remember that being much gorier, or actually wasn't gory at all in this, but they just kind of because they show it from behind. But that just like the implications of a boy watching his guardian in that moment being just swallowed by a shark right in front of him is terrifying.
And some of the kills they feel meaner, like when the boyfriend gets attacked with the Tina. I don't remember his name, but the shark grabs him and slams his face into the side of the boat, and he's like grabbing on, trying to pull back in before it rips a chunk of the boat out. Like they're mean, a mean kill.
Yeah. I think this movie's it's interesting because it's less bloody, but it just it definitely does feel more mean spirited. And it just but there's some cool like moments of tension, like where there's like the parasailing or whatever, I don't know what you call it, where there's like a big sail and the guy's kind of dunking in and out of the water. That I mean, it doesn't amount to anything, it's just kind of a teaser scene, but it gets you going, it gets some blood flowing.
That sailing scene was actually really well done, like building up the tension to it, like you think something's about to happen and then like nothing does really come of it, but it just gives you like that feeling that like something could happen at any moment in this movie. You don't necessarily know when it's going to come. It's really good at building up moments like that.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think ultimately the thing that hurts this more than anything is just that it doesn't have, like your wife was saying, the same charm as the first one. By not having Richard Dreyfuss and not having Quint and like that bonding experience between the three guys, because that's my favorite scene of the first movie. You just don't have the same kind of care for the characters, like I don't care if any of those teens get eaten. They don't like whatever. They don't matter to me. I didn't want the people to get eaten in Jaws. In this one, it's fine. I want people to get eaten because it's a shark movie, and that's what's fun.
Yeah, I did like. There's a lot of interesting touches with the town. They kept the town of Amity kind of lively. I like that on Brody's porch. He has one of the barrels from the orca. The old barrel that he used to cook the shark as a flower pot. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if this is how true this is. It's IMDb, so you take it with a grain of salt. But supposedly that we're gonna have the helicopter pilot and the girl Marge survive. Like she was gonna like duck under the boat. The
Yeah.
helicopter pilot.
Ooh.
As a Jaws, super fan, is there any truth to that? Can you verify?
Yeah, so I've heard the same thing. So like originally the helicopter pilot was going to survive and he was basically going to have like an air bubble in the cockpit. And then Marge was going to swim down underneath and go in there with him, and they would kind of like hold out there for a while until the shark was gone. So yeah, I think that they did originally plan that. And there's actually more to that helicopter scene too. I was watching the deleted scenes yesterday, and they actually show the shark attacking the helicopter pilot underwater while he's still in the cockpit. And I cannot for the life of me figure out why they cut that from the movie, because I'm looking at it and I'm just like, this was really well done, and like it's scary as hell too. Like being trapped in the helicopter and the shark coming after you, and I'm like, I don't know why they cut this. Maybe it was just a timing thing or a pacing thing, but like
That
I
sounds
feel
like
like
a
they could have
rating.
just left that right in the movie and it would have been perfectly fine.
Could have been like a ratings thing.
Maybe, but like it's not really that violent either. Like
I don't feel
compared
like this
to like
movie's
some of the
anywhere
other things
near
we've
R.
seen.
Like we're
Yeah,
not
it's
near
just
an R
very
rating for this
strange.
one.
Well, we're in
Yeah.
that weird place where there's like PG-13 and it jumps to R. So like, yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny
like
'cause
maybe it was one of those things where it's like that's just one step too far for like
Yeah.
whoever was rating it or some shit. I mean, who knows what they're thinking half the time.
Right,
Sure.
so arbitrary. Yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as he said that, I remember seeing that scene somewhere, and like in my head, I thought that he did get, they did show him getting eaten, and that was just, I think that stuck with me somewhere, and I forgot it was a deleted scene.
Yeah. Also, when I was
Um,
watching this yesterday, I've seen this movie like 100 times before. For the first time, I noticed that the old woman who notices the boat explosion first, she's the old woman, the aunt from House from 1984
Oh, really?
with
mm,
William Catt. Yeah, she's the crazy aunt. And like that,
oh,
like House was one of the first horror movies I ever watched when I was 2 years old. So I've seen that like 1,000 times. And it was only yesterday that was the first time that I actually noticed that. I was like, that's the aunt from House. And I looked it up just to double check. And I'm like, that's fucking her. I'm like, I have no idea how I never noticed that before.
that's funny. Oh, and I saw another thing where it's like, why is Tina and her boyfriend at like almost all of the whenever something happens with the shark, because they
Yeah.
find the killer whale, and they're there when
Yeah.
the boats show up, and then the shark finds them. So maybe it's really after Tina, or maybe it's, I don't know, it's got something for Tina, because everyone in this movie is horny for Tina.
Yeah. Again, even all the adult men in public.
Yeah, they're like catcalling
Yeah.
her. The chief of police is catcalling the high
Yeah.
school beauty
Oh,
queen.
God.
The chief of police is catcalling her, and then the mayor's introducing her like, "Hey, come on up here!" Like, come on, guy.
Yeah, that was so bizarre. And like it's been like a couple of years since I've watched this, and I like finally just caught on to that. I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, of course, when you see it as a kid, like you don't think
Right,
anything
yeah.
of it.
Right.
But like watching it now, I'm just like, this is so weird. I'm like, I can't believe like I've just like breezed over this for so long. And I'm just like, yeah, this is bizarre. Like this is a little too much, but
70s were a wild time.
yeah. Yeah.
Right. So this was directed by, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this right, Janot Zwark. Do you guys have a better pronunciation
Close
of
as
that?
I could pronounce
That
it.
sounds close enough to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a
Janot.
fake, like Swedish French name that like some other
Yeah.
director just put on a beret and a mustache to try to get onto this. Because supposedly Steven Soderbergh was a child, and when he was a child, was a huge Jaws fan, and when he heard they're making a sequel, he like sent them a letter saying that he would direct it for free.
Oh.
And then he met the producers later, and they said, "You probably should have." But he did a ton of TV. He did Somewhere in Time and the Supergirl movie, which, that is a movie.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
it
haven't seen
is.
that in a long time, but I remember it being really wacky.
I remember the end of that movie the most because
Mhm.
it's fucking ridiculous. Because she's like, hey, don't tell Superman I was here so that way he doesn't fuck up continuity. And they're like, okay. And then like she just like zips off into space. I'm just like, okay, I guess we're not going to tie these movies together, but it still exists within the same universe. Like, ugh, it's so stupid.
Let's see. We already went over who played Tina. Mike Runner plays Mike Brody, which again, it seems like he aged like
A
8
lot.
years between these two
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
His only big thing was a voice acting gig in a movie called Fantastic Planet, which is some sort of
Oh, yeah.
animated feature that looks really wacky.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
a wild French like it's crazy. It's a lot of fun to watch though. I would recommend definitely that's a take an edible type of
I was
movie.
gonna say
It's that
it looks like an
70s
altered,
like yeah.
it looks like an
It's good
altered
stuff
states
though.
movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of my like undercover favorite characters in this is Mike's friend Andy, who's played by Gary Springer, not Jerry Springer. Um, and he was in Dog Day Afternoon. He was in MASH and Happy Days and wanted to become like a producer.
Oh, wow.
And then there's the cousin Jackie, who's like the new girl who I guess tells like kind of drives the plot because he's like, oh, meet us at 8.
Oh,
She like directs the whole crew when to meet and everything and convinces Mike, and she plays the lead in Angel.
I was gonna say I
Yes.
hadn't been to her IMDb and I saw her. I the whole time I was thinking I know this girl from something. It's Angel, which is a very underrated weird movie, by the way. If you haven't
I've
seen it,
I've always wanted to watch it. I love it has a great VHS cover. Let's
yes,
just put it that
Yeah.
way.
it's not as trashy as it comes across. So if you haven't seen Angel,
That's a fan.
Angel is about a girl who is a high school student by day and a streetwalker by night. And she interacts with all the weirdos that live like on Hollywood Boulevard in LA. And Rory Calhoun plays this old cowboy. And man, it's great. Love that movie.
She's also in a movie that I've covered on my show called 90210 Shark Attack, which I would put up there with one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was gonna ask you about that one, but I noticed
Yeah.
that. So
Oh, and
yeah,
there's
that's like
what's his name from Christine, the guy who plays Arnie, is
Yes.
in this too.
oh, which one's he?
That nerdy
The
You
shaggy
guy.
remember
hair guy?
when he's pumping up the boat, the inflatable boat, and it pops?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
him.
the John
We see him
Lennon
at the
looking
beginning
guy?
of the movie too. Like he's like one of the like nerdy guys. Like him and his friend are like the two nerdy dudes. Yeah.
I was thinking the whole time I recognized him too. I should have just gone to IMDb, but instead I'm learning it all live on the show tonight.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it's not a bad sit. It's a little bit long, and there's too many teen characters. But like, if you're just hankering for something more in the Jaws world, it gets much worse.
I think
It gets
my biggest complaint about this one, other than missing some of those characters, is it really does like it retreads so much of the previous story that there are times it feels a little lazy, but then they throw in something like a helicopter attack and then it kind of makes up for it. I at least know
Jody,
they
did you
tried
say this
something
was your,
different in this next one. What?
was this your first time seeing it?
Yes, this is my first time. I have not seen a single Jaws sequel. This is all new to me every time.
Oh, you are in for a treat.
Yes,
Jaws
he is.
3, my friend.
I at
Oh, it's
least
actually
know.
funny too. There's a line in this movie when they find the orca, and Chief Brody is asking like the marine biologist or the expert that he calls in, and he's like, "Is it possible that if something happens to one shark, they can send out a
Mhm.
signal to
Mhm.
another shark?" And she's like, "Mr. Brody, sharks don't take things personally." And then cut to Jaws 4, and this time it's personal.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of taglines, though, this movie has
Oh yeah,
one of the best taglines of cinema history. It's the
Yeah.
just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water. There's been a million parodies of that.
Yep.
and I mean, talking on the financial side, this was the most profitable sequel in the again, according to IMDb until like the early '90s, which I'm assuming they're talking about T2. Must have blown this
Yeah.
one out of the water.
Probably. Yeah.
So I mean, it didn't make as much overall as the first movie, but I think it made more on its first weekend.
I mean, Jaws was pretty much the first summer blockbuster, so I'm sure
Yeah.
when it came back around for another round, people came
Right.
out for it.
So I mean,
Yeah, and people weren't like clamoring for like sequels back then. Like it really wasn't that much of a thing. Like when I was watching some of the special features, they were talking about like Planet of the Apes was like basically, one of the only like big franchises out there. at the time, and I like the only other big sequel before this probably would have been like The Godfather Part 2,
I was
maybe.
going to say
Yeah.
Godfather, James Bond kind of thing, but yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
I think most of those were like because it's based on books, and there was no Jaws 2, so they're just kind of like, oh, let's see what happens. Let's
Yeah.
remake the first one.
Yeah. But they did turn it into a book. I have the novelization right here of
Excellent.
it too.
Well, yeah,
I do love novelizations.
I think I had the soundtrack, like on cassette somewhere when I was a kid.
I actually really like the score for this
Yeah.
movie. Like that opening scene when the scuba divers are finding the orca and whatnot. The score for there is beautiful. Like I love that a lot.
And it's still a
I know
John
like
Williams
a lot of it's
score.
still kind of similar, but like it's still different enough that like it still adds something a little bit new.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, it's Universal, so they're going to throw money at it, and the first one's such a big hit, so they're getting good talent there, but they just can't really make it the plot any better.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah. And
this film does not equal the quality of its parts.
Well,
Yeah.
whether Roy Schneider was kind of forced into making this or not, like he is still the best part of the movie. Like he's great, and his wife,
he still gives a great
Lorraine
performance.
Gary, still great.
Yeah.
Like there's some really good actors.
Yeah, 100%.
And then Steve, do you have a definitive ranking on the Jaws sequels?
Yeah, basically in order that they were released is how I kind of view them. Like Jaws is still the number one, number two is number two, number three and number four respectively. But granted, I'm one of the weirdos that still likes the sequels. But I have this thing, and I've just like started recently realizing this, is that I have a thing for when franchises go way off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one example I always use is the Fast and Furious franchise. They're not particularly good movies, but I just love how like stupid and crazy they go off the rails. I'm like, they're in space in one of them, and I'm just like, sure, why not? Let's go to fucking space. I understand like why people hate movies like that, and especially when you grow love for a franchise and then it starts getting all crazy and weird. I'm like, I get that because I've definitely felt that way about movies in the past. But then I go back and revisit them, like the Resident Evil franchise. I'm like, the first like 2 or 3 are like decent, and then after that it's just like I don't know what I'm watching right now. But I sort of just embrace that at this point. And it's like the Die Hard movies. The first 2 are good, third one's pretty decent, and then like the other 2 are just like, why does this exist? It shouldn't, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm here for the ride.
Hey, if you got a long-running franchise and you're not doing insane things, then you're missing out on an opportunity.
Yeah, they can't all be winners.
Can't play it safe all the time. Got to do something
No.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, our over at Dead Meat, they're doing Hot Saw Summer, and they're revisiting all this on their podcast. They're revisiting all the Saw movies, and I've been listening to them. I don't have time to listen to watch all the movies. So I'm kind of like reliving a lot because I saw a lot of them like when they first came out, and I haven't seen them since. So yeah, I mean those movies just get really soap opera-y.
Oh yeah,
for lack of a better term. All right, well, let's move on to do our episode, our movie rating. We do 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. You can do half points. Steve, what do you give this movie?
I think I'm somewhere between like 3.5 and 4 on this, honestly, because I think like it's almost, like I said, it's almost as good as the first one. There's still a lot to love about this movie, and I think it's like severely underrated overall. I don't think people talk about this movie enough.
All right, Jody.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. I'm going to go with 3.5. It's not the greatest movie, especially not, we said last week Jaws was like a 6-star out of 5, but it's a good sit. It's not bad. There are a few stretches that go a little bit long, but otherwise it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm going with a 3, which is still a good rating, but it's just if they got rid of half of the teens in the last like third of the movie and cut out like 10-15 minutes, I think it would have been a lot better. But it's still very enjoyable. It's a decent follow-up to one of the all-time best movies, and that's about as good as you could probably have hoped for.
What if instead of like cutting out the teens, just a lot of them got eaten at the end? Like, would that have helped? It would have helped me, I think.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, because a lot of them don't do anything.
Yeah.
So
No, they felt
yeah,
disposable. It felt like they were there to be
Yes.
attacked at some point, and then they're just not. So like
But then
that's
they never
pretty
do.
disappointing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if the last few scenes had been a little more of a feeding frenzy for all the teenagers, then 5 stars. I just needed
Yeah.
needed a little more eating.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was still trying to
100%.
be prestige Universal
Yes.
movie at that point. All
I
right,
don't think I have to
let's
worry
take.
about that in the next sequels. I think prestige goes away somewhere along the way.
Yeah. You can't even use that word to describe the
No.
next 2 movies.
I'm excited.
Oh, you should be.
But
3 is an absolute treat to watch if you've never
it
seen
is,
it before. Like,
yeah, it's real.
I wish
camp.
I could watch that for the first time again because it's just so ridiculous.
I love
And
ridiculous.
what's his name? Dennis Quaid was on cocaine the entire time for that movie too.
Oh,
So
I didn't know Dennis
I
Quaid
think.
was in it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think everyone's on cocaine in that movie. All right, let's take a quick break and do a shout out.
Hi, this is Joe Dante, and you're listening to Dads from the Crypt.
All right, and we're back. Since Mondo's not here, it leaves it to me to do song of the day, and I love to switch it up from Mondo's usual metal songs. So being that this is the next episode in the Jaws series, a certain single came out 25 years ago in July. The next episode by Dr. Dre.
I like it.
Yeah, I was like,
that is still a banger.
song.
I love that
Such a
song.
banger. Some reason this album makes me think of Jody. It makes me think of being in my dorm room in college, doing the Century Club.
Yeah, I'm just that little hook by Nate Dogg there at the end with the hey smoke weed every day. Just
yeah,
perfect way to end the song.
Yeah,
and everyone always tried to time it right, and no one ever could.
Oh yeah, no.
Nope.
That's a good
All
pick.
right.
Thanks. I like that one.
I thought you would. All right, Jody, give us some horror news.
All right, not a lot this time because recording schedule sometimes works out so that our episodes are recorded pretty close to each other. But there are a few cool things to talk about. One is a movie that we saw at Chattanooga Film Fest this year, Queens of the Dead, which is Tina Romero's debut picture, daughter of George Romero. It's a zombie movie with drag queens. It's a ton of fun. And it's getting a theatrical release this fall. So you get a chance to see this one in theaters. All I know is fall 2025 so far. I don't have anything beyond that. But it's definitely worth checking out. It's a good time. Another thing coming out soon, a new book from friend of the show, Wayne Byrne, who has been on our show to talk about all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. He has a new book coming out called You Can't Kill the Boogeyman, about the Halloween saga. So if you enjoyed his first book, or if you haven't read his first book, you should, because these are really good deep dives into these franchises. So if you love Halloween, it's worth picking up.
Speaking of franchises,
I think
went off the rails.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
One of the wildest of all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Wayne in a little bit, but I think his goal with this, because there's been so much written about Halloween, but his goal is really to talk to the people that like don't get talked to very often. A lot of the people on the production side. So to try to really get some fresh content out there. So
Nice.
Highly recommend that.
I know, at least in the Nightmare on Elm Street book that he did a lot of going back to the actors and the producers and the directors and everybody who was involved to get it firsthand from them. So I feel like if you want a kind of definitive book getting into Halloween, checking out Wayne's is a good way to go. And then lastly, they've announced some of the different haunted houses for Halloween Horror Nights this year. And one of the ones that they're going to be doing is Art the Clown, which I don't know if I want to go to an Art the Clown Halloween Horror Nights, but some people might be excited. Others that they've previously announced, Fallout, a Five Nights at Freddy's, and a whatever the heck the Jason Universe thing is. I still don't understand it. It's something Jason related, and I think we'll get new toys out of it, but maybe a Halloween Horror Nights as well. I still don't know what it is, though. But yeah, that's all I got this time. Not a ton of news, but yeah, check out that book. Check out the other stuff. Queens of the Dead.
Yeah,
Check it out.
I saw a headline about the Terrifier thing, and I didn't get a chance to read it, but it says like promises to be like the goriest Halloween Horror Nights
I can't
attraction of
imagine
all
that it
time.
wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
if you just remake the bedroom scene for part 2, like you've got a whole horror house right there. You don't have to do anything
Yeah.
else.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the shower scene from 3. You could probably throw that in there and chainsaw
That'd be amazing.
right in the butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Before we end, I thought for some dad advice, I did a quick Google search on tips to survive a shark attack.
Okay.
So I went to the Florida Museum of Natural History, and they have a whole section on this. So tips to reduce risk of shark bite. Although the relative risk of a shark bite is very small, risk should be always minimized whenever possible in any activity. The chances of having interaction with a shark can be reduced with these tips. Number 1, always stay with a buddy, since sharks are more likely to approach a solitary individual.
That makes sense.
Yep. Do not wander too far from shore. Being far from shore also isolates you from any emergency assistance. Now, my question is, what is far from shore?
That is a good question.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty relative fucking term.
The furthest I ever go out into the ocean, because the ocean is terrifying. It is full of all kinds of things. You don't know what's under there. But the furthest I ever go out is like if there's a sandbar out a little ways, I will go out to that sandbar. But usually we're still in very shallow water at that point. So I don't know if I'm tempting the sharks by the sandbar or not.
Well, actually, number 3, exercise caution when occupying the area between sandbars or near steep drop-offs. These are favorite.
It's the path over there. It's the path over there then. Okay. Sandbar good, beach good, path to sandbar bad. Got it.
Number 4, avoid being in the water during low light hours, dusk or dawn, and at night when many sharks are most active in feeding.
Just like vampires.
It's like, yeah, damn vampires. Which is funny because in the first one, they say he's a night feeder. They only show him attacking one person at night.
Yeah, the rest of the movie, it's all daytime.
Yeah.
And they only go
looking.
looking.
Schedule. I get like that sometimes. You just kind of get off. Takes a while to get readjusted.
Okay, number 5. Sharks have never been shown to be attracted to the smell of human blood. However, it may be advisable to stay out of the water if bleeding from an open wound. Also see our section on menstruation and sharks.
All right. I mean, I feel like don't go in the water if you're bleeding. Seems like, kind of common sense. Like, just don't do that.
I feel like that's just a good rule of thumb, whether there's sharks there or not, no matter what body of water you're in.
Yeah. I don't know if I trust the ocean to be clean enough to go out with an open wound and just say, hey, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 6, wearing shiny jewelry is discouraged because the reflected light may resemble the sheen of fish scales.
Well, that's why I always take my chains off when I go
I know.
That's why you
for
see
the beach
some
only.
photographers getting attacked because they'll end up leaving like the flash on in their underwater camera or something, and then
that makes sense.
the shark will come up because again they think it's that reflection.
This is fun. 7, avoid areas with known effluents or sewage and those being used by water or commercial anglers, especially if there are signs of bait fishes or feeding activity. Diving seabirds are good indicators of these fishes' presence. So don't go swimming where the sewage is.
Again, feels like good advice regardless of sharks.
I don't know anybody. Well, no, I guess I have heard of people swimming in sewage-infested waters, but I don't know why any normal person would be like, "Oh, it's sewage. Yeah, let's dive in."
Mondo's not here, so I have to at least mention that our Secretary of Health and Human Services might go swimming in sewage water.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, he did.
I heard about RFK doing that. I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. So yeah, I guess there are some people who are totally fine with sewage swimming.
Yeah.
Let's see. Avoid water being used by recreational commercial anglers. Again, if you want to go fishing in the area or go swimming where someone's throwing hooks in the water, I guess you might deserve to get eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
Number 9, sightings of porpoises or dolphins do not indicate the absence of sharks. Both often eat the same food items. Let's see. Number 10, use extra caution when water is murky. Some shark species will have just as much trouble seeing as you. Number 11, avoid uneven tanning, bright colored and or high contrasting clothing. Sharks see contrast particularly well.
So if I've gotten a good tan in my suit, I shouldn't then go skinny dipping afterwards with a very flat ass.
No farmer's tans, guys.
Right. Good. Locking that down.
Refrain from excess splashing, particularly in a single spot. Sharks can hear the low frequency sounds from splashing and may investigate to see if there is a fish or prey in distress. So when your mother yells at you to stop splashing so much, there's actually a good reason.
There we go.
Number 13, do not enter the water if sharks are known to be present. Slowly and calmly evacuate the water if sharks are seen.
Yeah, the ocean's a big place, so there's going to be sharks present somewhere in the ocean. So,
yeah, I think if I knew there were sharks in the area, you wouldn't have to tell me twice to stay out of the water. I think I just assume probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. Now, just to wrap up, here's a couple. If you actually how to survive a shark attack.
Okay.
Number 1, stay calm and maintain eye contact. Panicking and splashing can attract a shark. Maintaining eye contact signals that you are aware and not an easy target. Avoid sudden movements, which could trigger a chase response.
Okay. I have a question. How do you maintain eye contact with a shark? Its eyes are on the side of its head. I'm not sure which eye I need to be looking at.
Yeah, you got to push yourself to the side and be like, "Hey, now."
Just stare right into that eye.
Yeah.
Oh, and then to contradict that, number 2, retreat slowly and safely. Back away slowly while facing the shark, keeping it in sight. Okay. Avoid turning your back, which makes you more vulnerable. If possible, move towards shallow water, a place where you can get out of the water. Number 3, if attacked, fight back. Mm-hmm. Use an available object as a weapon. Focus on the shark's sensitive areas, its eyes, gills, or nose. Aim for forceful strikes to startle or deter the shark.
I have heard the thing about punching the shark in the nose before, that just give it a punch. Sometimes it'll be enough.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean most of them aren't as big as the ones in these movies, too. Yeah. Most of them are little fellas comparatively.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4, after the attack, stop the bleeding.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of the water as quickly as possible. Seek immediate medical attention, even for minor injuries.
I think that's just a rule of thumb for like injuries.
Yeah.
Like as a whole, if you're bleeding, generally make it stop.
It's not gonna like adjust your humors or anything to bleed out for a while. Is that it?
Well, and that's our advice. You know, if you just happen to survive a shark attack by with the knowledge of what I just told you, give us an email. Maybe a like and subscribe.
If Dads from the Crypt saved your life today with this episode, please consider joining our Patreon. It was $5 a month for saving your life.
It's the least you can do.
Exactly. Well, that wraps up another episode. Steve, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you and your show?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, guys. This was a blast. You can find me on anywhere you get your podcast from, at Bucket of Chum Podcast. I'm on YouTube, again, Bucket of Chum Podcast. I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Bucket of Chum, and you can follow me on most of the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Slasher, Blue Sky, and again, all at Bucket of Chum or at Bucket of Chum Podcast.
Love it. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone for listening. We would really appreciate it if you would give us a rating and review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, a like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads from the Crypt Talk on TikTok. With that, we thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.